Welcome. This is Patrick, and you're trading with Prime. Let some people get in here for a second. All right, today is January 31st, Sunday. We're going to be going over some charts. Hopefully, we'll go over some of the things that you guys would like to take a look at. And we'll go over some charts that, some of the things that I'm watching this week. And we'll kind of go from there. Let me do a couple things here really quick. Make sure I've got the link right. Okay, so I am going to begin by going over a little bit of broad market analysis. And I wish I could go live during the week. Maybe soon we can try to attempt that, but I don't want to make any promises yet. And we'll see how that goes. So, first thing, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run through it, and then people can go back and watch the video once the stream gets buffered over there at YouTube, and people can actually just go back and check it out. And meanwhile, we'll just let people kind of pull into the stream here. But for now, I'll just go through the broad market analysis, and we'll just get into it. What we're looking at is the S&P 500. We're taking a look at the daily chart, and what we're first looking at is this channel, this uplifting channel right here. What we had a few days ago, you had Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all bearish consolidation. You had the high of 385.85 to the penny. When we saw that gap down and then we traded lower and then we closed the day. Let me see here. Okay. My YouTube always does this error message. How's it going? Easy Money Trading Academy. Welcome. So what we're looking at is so as the market gapped down here and we closed the day, and I believe this was on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah, so this would be Wednesday. This in itself, when it took out these several trading days, we filled some gaps in here, and then we closed below several of these numbers. That was our first bearish signal that we got. And so what we do is we wait for the retracement, and it about retraced halfway up. And on a lower time frame, which I'm not going to go to right now, but on a lower time frame, it provided a nice short opportunity. And by the way, if you guys are in our Discord, if you're not in the Discord, the link is underneath the video in the description. We have a free side. We also have a trial to the premium content, and we also have just straight premium if you want to dive straight in. So that was the first bearish signal that we were looking at, and it provided a nice short opportunity right in this day, which was Thursday. Gap down on Friday, and then a pretty much bearish day Friday. Something a little bit concerning is this right here. We did close the day back down on the 50-day moving average, traded below it a little bit, and then back up and closed right on the 50-day. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. It looks like the futures are down. It looks like they're gapping down. And I'm going to get into something. If you are long the market right now, I'm going to give you a little bit of positive news being long the market. I know the last several days looks pretty bearish, but some of the positive news is this. The market can always continue higher and do another retracement of these candles. So in fact, it could be a bounce all the way up to this gap up here, consolidation. So right now, if you're in short trades, maybe we're looking for bearish consolidation. If you're in a long trade, I would, again, keep your stop losses tight. Just know that we've already broken down out of this channel. And I'm sure there's a lot more analysis that we could do on that. I'm going to move on to the Qs. And if you guys saw my video the other day, it pretty much is the same deal across the board. So so as far as the Qs go, same kind of scenario. And you know, this is all your favorite tech. You know, right now I'm definitely sitting in cash, waiting for the right opportunity, the right time to go ahead and go long again. I'm just not totally convinced just yet. I am expecting a bounce, whether it's a dead cat bounce or a bounce from here. I am expecting one sometime soon. And I'm going to zoom out to show you kind of the prices I'm looking at. I want the September highs price, which is around $300 in the Qs. And if I flip back to the SPY, the high that I want is, again, the September high. You could go between the September high and the old 2020 high back here before the pandemic, 219. That was around 340. If I could get a price somewhere in there as far as going back into my longer term positions, that's something that I would be looking for. But again, the market doesn't have to get all the way down there. We are on a technical breakout given the state of the economy, we understand that, you know, is the market or is it not pricing in the fact that people aren't all the way back to work and we printed $6 trillion or whatever the figure is now. So those are all things that we could kind of keep an eye on and pay attention to. Things can definitely change in one way or the other, or maybe the market will. Maybe it will catch up to the fundamentals, which is maybe not looking so great. So here it is. I flipped over the futures, and yeah, we dipped down to 3656.50. And this one I will go ahead and go into a lower time frame, hourly chart. By the way, if you guys are missing big moves in the market, when I switch to, and this is just me personally, I mean, maybe go ahead and leave a comment under the video, but for me personally, what I did to catch these big moves is I switched over to an hourly and daily chart. I stopped trading the lower time frames. Now, if you're day trading and stuff, you know, if you want a really good entry, maybe we could switch to the lower time frames, but I felt for my trading, the best thing for me was to switch to using hourly charts, and that helped out tremendously. Hourly to the anywhere from the hourly to the 8 hour, and then of course always the daily chart. I'm interested in what is going on. So yeah, it does look like we popped down here a little bit. It is trying to recover a little bit, and right now I'm a little bit unaware. Like, I don't know if this is, in my opinion, it's better to let's see what the evidence is. Excuse me. Let's see what the evidence is over the next couple days, maybe even into tomorrow. Let's see what the market does with this. Let's see what kind of news comes out tonight or into tomorrow. Let's see what kind of stimulus is coming around the corner. But right now, this is looking pretty ugly as it is. So if, for me, I'm in short trades right now. Coming into tomorrow, I think what I'll do, depending on the market, if the market gets back up above this 3717 on the futures, I'll probably exit my short trades. But then really the line in the sand as far as to the downside, if the market finds itself back up above 37.33 and back into this bullish channel, then I would definitely be looking to go long on any kind of dip buying. Okay, we'll get off of that. So let me do something really quick here. How's it going, guys? Let's do this. Okay, so by the way, I apologize for not being around the last, I don't know how many Sundays, so thank you guys for joining us today. It's been a extremely busy last several, I don't know how many months. So I appreciate it. We'll try to get this thing going again for the next several months and into the future. I'll try to show up as best as I can for you guys, and I appreciate each and every one of your guys' involvement in this channel. My original goal and my continued goal is to help traders with technical analysis. And so any types of charts that they're looking at, any way that we can help them better themselves. And I like to learn every day, so it helps me as well. So that's the futures, that's the broad market. One more, let's just go to IWM. I won't get into the financials. We can do that another time, or it's pretty much the same analysis as the last video. So here it is. This is the IWM. We're looking at after hours, and I don't know if this is pricing in today. This might have been Friday's after hours. So definitely looking bearish. We did break down out of the consolidation. Let's go to the daily chart to get a better viewpoint of what's going on. The IWM can actually give up a lot here and still be bullish. I know it seems pretty bearish right now, but I wouldn't call this a top yet. I would call this profit taking. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think that this chart could come all the way down to 198 and still be bullish, and then maybe bounce from there. I am also expecting this to be like it's not going to go straight down or straight up. So definitely expect days. There are going to be days when you think that it's going to make it look like the market is going to bounce from here and everyone's going to be buyers again. Be very careful of that, because a lot of times it'll rally, making you think that it'll make you think that the market is going to continue higher, when in fact it's still bearish short term, but longer term bullish, if that makes sense. So I would definitely love to pick up the IWM. I'm looking for $199, $200 in the IWM. Until then, I'm still short. Or if we get back above Friday's high, I'm still short. So that's the broad market. I do want to get into your guys'. I'm going to go through a few charts with you guys. First one I'm going to look at is RKT. I'm going to get in some really good ones. Actually, there's a couple that you guys might like. We'll see. Maybe you won't like them. I don't like the price action of RKT the last day, and I'm going to kind of explain what this is. So we did have this bullish breakout, which we were involved in, and we did take some profit. This last day was, I think, mainly to do with Robinhood and how it limited, or whatever brokers there were that limited people from buying. I think this had a lot to do with it. Now, I'm not going to get totally into the talk about what what Robinhood is doing, what the brokers are doing to limit shares. Actually, I'm going to touch on it, but not totally go into it. And first of all, let me do this. Let me go to default so you guys can kind of see the screen a little bit better. So this is the list of Robinhood's. Here it is here's the list. This is Robinhood added additional restrictions to trades on its platform late Friday. Now, some of these restrictions, I'm going through them. If you guys ever do you guys ever check out, did you guys ever check out Trading Fraternity? And I was watching a video this last week and I saw something on Trading Fraternity that was like, I was already thinking about it. Not exactly what I think his name is Josh, but what he was saying was he was talking about liquidity, and it really made me think about it, because it does remind me of 2018. It does remind me of the coronavirus crash was more about liquidity. When there's bottlenecks in the cash flow underneath the hood of the market, meaning the clearinghouses, when there's a lot of bottleneck in that area, what happens is you can run out of liquidity, meaning there's not somebody else there to take the trade because there's a bottleneck in the system. Now, when you're actually making a trade, let me do this. For those of you guys who know this, I apologize. For those of you who are new and you don't know this, so you have a buyer and then you have a seller, right? And so what you have in the middle is you have the broker. And then coming out the other side of the broker, it doesn't just go to the seller. It actually goes to what's called a clearinghouse. And then it goes to the next person in line, which is the person actually buying. So if you're trying to sell it, you're going to go through the broker, and then you're going to go through a clearinghouse, and then you're going to go through the person that's buying it. Hypothetically, let's just, I'm sure there's more pieces in this, just very simple way of looking at it. So what happens is, for somebody like Robinhood, they're not just the broker, they're the ones doing the transactions also. So what that means is, if you might see news that comes out where Robinhood needed $1 billion type of a bailout scenario, well, the reason why is because they have to float this money. So when you have a lot of money going in and out of these companies really fast, think of every time somebody buys or sells, it's really, you're able to sell your shares really fast because the broker's doing it. And so with Robinhood, that's the difference, is most of the brokers, they use other companies, clearinghouse companies, clearinghouse firms to do those transactions for them. And so they might use money from a bank, or they might have their own money. All this is insured. Anytime you buy or sell a stock, your stock is with that company, your partial owner. So I don't think it's necessary to worry about what's going to happen to my shares. As far as losing money with those, the options is options firm. So the thing is like, I don't want to get too far into it. All I want to say is, like, whether you believe that, because I see a lot of this on social media, whether you believe that these companies like Robinhood and whatever brokers there are, if they're in cahoots with the people shorting the stocks, I'm not here to say yes they are, no they're not. I have no idea. I don't think there's any evidence of it yet, but there might be some down the pike, maybe. Like, we don't know. And if you do know, post in the comment section. I'd like to see some evidence one way or the other what your opinion is. However, this is what I want to say. Regardless of the situation of what they did or didn't do, they are limiting shares. So if I look down the list here, it does get kind of concerning, because you do think, so I understand BlackBerry and Bed Bath & Beyond, even GameStop, I understand those ones. What I don't understand is what doesn't make sense to me. Why would American Airlines be in there? And Josh from Trading Fraternity brought this up. He had a really good point. Even Beyond Meat, why is that why is that being limited? And if I scroll down here and you go through these, some of these, General Motors, right? And I'm scrolling through here and I'm looking at these. A lot of the favorite stocks that we like to trade, AMD is in here. Well, I believe AMD is in. Did I skip right over it? Maybe it's not. I apologize. I thought I saw AMD in here. Maybe I didn't. Okay, let me scroll down here back to where I was. So the other thing is, so RKT is in here, and there's what I was talking about. Friday had a really red day. Why? Because there weren't a lot of buyers, because they were being restricted from buying. So if they're being restricted from buying, that leaves a lot more pressure on with the sell side. But I don't believe that I'm gonna go over to GameStop in a minute, but let's keep going on the list here. The last one that I saw was, so they might have changed it already. I swear on everything I saw Starbucks on this list. If you know the answer to this, put it in the comment section. I swear I saw Starbucks on here. So we get the point, right? Why are, right here, AMD is on the list. Why are these companies being limited? You know, so this is the concerning thing about this. And I believe that Starbucks is on this list, but now I don't see it, so I don't want to look like like a fool. But AMD's on. Oh, it is Starbucks. Why is Starbucks on the list? You know, like that doesn't make any sense to me at all. Like at all. If Starbucks is on this on the list because the firms are having a hard time with the liquidity, covering what the buyers and covering the demand for buyers and sellers, and being able to write that contract, if they can't do it for Starbucks, what else can't they do it for? Is this list going to get added to? Which brings me to the next point, is that when you look at the chart, let's go over to the chart here. And I'm looking at the chart for a minute. Picture this being the broad market. It really doesn't matter. This can be a liquidity event. The next several days we'll really know. The next several days in the overall broad market, we're really going to know if there's a liquidity issue. We haven't dealt with that because the Fed's been pumping money into the market, so we haven't had to deal with it. Now it's kind of a concerning thing. Okay, I'll get off of that. That was just my point to all that. Now, I don't know whether these brokers, some of them are doing it to quote unquote protect shareholders from pump and dump schemes. They've been doing that since the beginning of the stock market. Pump and dumps have been around since the beginning. The difference now is we have social media, so it's easier to pump. The problem with it, what they're concerned about, quote unquote, is your average Joe who doesn't know anything about the market, who sees these things, sees these stocks running up, and they see it on the news, and then they buy the top. You know, but it is a free market. They're really not here. They shouldn't limit our, I don't know. They shouldn't really limit our buying of securities. That should be another agency's job, which it is another agency's job. Okay, I'm going to get off of that. So, RKT. Same thing. You had a very bearish day on Friday. That's the only thing concerning. You could still be long RKT. Just keep in mind of the fact that people are being restricted from buying so many shares. Here we have ANGI, and I went to ANGI. Oh, and now you guys probably can't see the chart. Let me get back to Thinkorswim. Okay, ANGI. So this one I kind of like. I like this price action here. I like how this pulled down. You had the all-time highs of 1705. It had a breakout event, and guess what? It's not on the list, I don't think. And now you had a back test. Let's see what it does. If we can find ourselves start to rally here, this might be a good opportunity. And one other thing I want to show you guys, the reason why I chose this, and the reason why I chose several of these that are on the list today is, let me go back over to here. So Angie, right here, Angie's short percent of float, 23%. It's not astronomical like some of these other companies, but it's still pretty high. I'm not much of a person to go check the short percent of float rate. Like I don't actively do that. The reason why I'm doing it today, the reason why I did it this weekend, and we're focusing on that is because that's the kind of stocks that these people on social media are kind of trying to pump, are things that are heavily shorted. Well, this is something that could be considered not crazy high, but it's high, above 20%. Let's get rid of that screen. Oh, I cleared two screens out. Anyway, so the other one I want to look at is, so that's Angie. Let's see what it does coming into this next week. The other one I want to look at is SRG. Another same thing with SRG is we had a breakout and what it looks like a back test, and I'm going to draw in the little, here's the breakout. We had a back test. The only thing concerning about this is it was an extremely bearish close, and I don't know if SRG is on that list or not. We could go check, but pretty bearish close. We'll see. Based on the candle alone, I would imagine that we'd fall right back down into this pattern here. And if we do fall back down into the pattern, I'm no longer willing to be involved with this chart. But based on the flow, which again, I'm going to go back over to FinViz. Actually, let's use, oh, come on. Let's use, what one were we just looking at? SRG. Happy Sunday. He's ready to make money this week. Oh, SRG. Let's go look at this. 38%, right? That's looking good. 38%. Now, I don't know if the reason why I don't like going off this number ever in the past is because, and I used to go off of it, The reason why I stopped is because there's a reason why these companies are short. These hedge funds are short the stock for a reason. So that's something to be mindful of. We are betting against, which I don't like to usually do, is bet against the hedge funds. But hey, if 3 other million people are going to bet against them, then it's a little bit more worth the time, right? So that's SRG. Let's look at my favorite one out of all these is PRTS. So we'll go to PRTS. This one I definitely like. If I go back out here, go to a 4-year. Actually, let me try to go back further than that. Not that crazy. Let's not do that. Not that crazy. Okay. Let's go to a monthly chart. The old high when it first IPO'd, the following month was 1168. Put in an extremely bearish candle, if you can see on the left side of the screen. And it took this many years. That was back in 07. It took this many years for that price to get all the way back up there again. And this time it broke out. Because of the move this last year, the last year and a half, because of this type of move, it needed time to consolidate. Well, it's been consolidating for about 6 or 7 months. So let me zoom back in here to the daily chart, and now here it is. And I like this. You see the breakout. It's it might be a little too obvious, the breakout, but the same thing. I could draw in a line here. Let's do this. I can draw in this kind of a zone here, this consolidation. It broke out. It gapped higher, broke out, pulled back for a few days. And again, this one's not on the list. And what did we say for the short? I mean, this looks like one of the best setups. It's creating right now a bull flag. So let's look at PRTS as far as our good old FinViz. PRTS, we're looking at insider transactions was down negative 74%. Institutional ownership or institutional owned 74%. The short flow is 37.76%. That's pretty high. Again, it's not as high as these other ones that we've been seeing in the news. Those ones are like bankrupt stocks that might be going bankrupt. And so right here, we're looking at that could be a nice little squeeze here. I know, of course, this information is like a week or two behind, but still, I think they added onto their short position. Maybe some of the big guys got out, but I have a feeling that they just added to the short position once it gapped higher. Okay, that's off of that. Okay, I'm going to get off of this. Let's go to the charts. Now, let me scroll through the comments really quick to see if there's any questions, and then we will get into your guys' the stocks you guys want to watch. By the way, can you guys, is my audio and the video, I always get these error messages from YouTube. Okay. Okay. Let's scroll up here. Did anybody take that DOGE alert we put out on Saturday morning about 50% ago? I couldn't get in. I should stop looking at it. Okay, so ABB. I'm going to go ahead and put this on. Oh, and by the way, guys, let me check my... Okay. ABB. I like this chart. This is something you can actually... I like the uptrend, sideways action. We did break out, and now we are... One of two things is going to happen. We're going to pull back a little bit further for a back test, somewhere down in here, maybe even down around 27.75 eventually. Or it's going to trade sideways to higher. We have to give the overall trend the benefit of the doubt, even though we just did close right on / below by like maybe a penny, the 20-period moving average. I wouldn't put a lot of weight. I don't usually put a lot of weight in the moving averages. I do have them on the chart for certain reasons. But when the stock trades through a moving average over and over again, I don't count it in my trading as much, if that makes sense. So right now, just looking at it, this is definitely bullish. It's definitely healthy consolidation. It definitely did just break out. It's pretty clear. It's hard when the chart gaps up and down like this. It could be a little bit more risky going long because it can gap down. But if you manage the trade as far as maybe a little bit less equity per trade, maybe that would help with that. I just looking at the type of close that it had on Friday, I'm not sure if I put it on the weekly time frame. And again, just like the broad market, it can do anything. It can come all the way. This one can come all the way down to 28.19, 28.20 in this area and still be bullish on a weekly time frame. So, and it could be up in this supply zone. You gotta, you have several peaks in the past. Yes, this one broke out, but we could be getting up here to a point where it's going to want a little bit more time to consolidate. And that consolidation can come in time or price. Just be mindful of where it's out on the chart. Do you want to be a buyer? But yes, I would consider this consolidation right here more. The consolidation overall is more bullish than it is bearish. But again, the type of close Friday makes me want to believe that, we're just down in this area a few times. If I zoom in on the chart a little bit more, let's do this. And this might kind of draw a better picture for you. So if you kind of see this, like we broke out of this area right here on this day. We rallied up here to 30.89, bounced on the support once, pulled back. This should have been the higher low right here, right? That was the buying opportunity. Even though it only went up one more day, that was a buying opportunity. It pulled back, taking out that low. So because it tested right here on this day, I don't think the chart has much of a reason. Just like we saw in the S&P on Thursday, there's no reason why the price should be down here again. The more times it bounces on support, the more likely it is to fall through. So just kind of keep that in mind, in my opinion. All in my opinion. This is not trading advice. Please consult with a professional. Okay, so thank you for that, Carl. So let's look at AMD. Okay, so AMD, I like AMD. It is on that blacklist list. So I like AMD. I do believe there's over $100 price target in AMD. I just don't know when it's going to be. So if you're long shares, you can be long shares. The thing is, and I've kind of been calling for over 100 for a while, ever since back here when it came all the way up to 95 or 96. I didn't think that there was any reason why. Like AMD should have failed a long time ago. Even back here when it ran all the way up to this price up here, pulled back, and then it started rallying again. It was pretty evident that it was going to go up and over this price, but it really hasn't. I mean, it's consolidated on this at this price area. It's a pretty wide zone, right? But again, I don't think they came all the way to 99.23 to then turn around and trade all the way back down to $50. It's possible. The chart does look like it's kind of rolling over here. It is definitely possible, and this would be my last line in the sand would be right here, and we did close below that on Friday, meaning I would let it consolidate, let it fall a little bit. Maybe it will find support in the next few days or this week for some sort of a bounce, but be aware that the lower it goes, the more likely it's going to start targeting this moving average. And what's more important than that moving average is this gap down here that I can see on the screen. Hypothetical. I have no idea what's going to happen, just what it looks like it's doing. But I do believe by the end of this year or 6 months or 3 months, maybe we will do one more run. Like let's say in the next couple of weeks, we'll have one more run getting up and over $100. And then at that point, maybe it will begin to, maybe they'll pull the rug out. So definitely a bullish consolidation. Just be mindful of Friday's close. FDX. Oh, we love FedEx. So FedEx, same thing. Somebody posted this. I forget who it was in the Discord. I want to say it was, I don't know. So it was like the day he said it, it bounced there for a nice little rally for several days. So I wasn't involved in this one. I was more eyeing this red line down here at 230.27. So maybe we'll have one more leg down. And the reason why is for the several reasons I just listed in AMD. Maybe we'll have one more leg down. If we get below this price though, and we start closing below this 200 period moving average, I would be very careful because it has a lot more room to come down. There's a lot of room under there. So just be careful. I like the chart. Let's go to Microsoft. Microsoft, out of a lot of the tech companies, Microsoft is one of the bullish ones. And I mean, they're all bullish, but like relative, Microsoft is pretty bullish. I'm not sure when his earnings. 217, is that right? Or did it just have earnings? Probably just had it and beat it, and I don't even know. Okay, so Microsoft's a lot more bullish because it looks like out of all the tech, a lot of the tech is doing the same thing. I don't know if you want to draw one of these in. something like that. You could even draw one straight across. It really doesn't matter. It's the same bullish consolidation. Anyway, it broke out. So maybe we'll come down here for a back test and then it'll take off again. If I was going to trade something in the broad market, it would as far as the FANG, it would most likely be Microsoft because of the relative strength. But we will see what happens. I think that it could pull back a little bit here. We could come back for a back test, or we could just burn off a little bit of this steam, and then maybe the buyers will show up again, probably around 225, 226. Keep in mind, though, it can come all the way down here to 218 and still be bullish. So that one would be a nice one to watch this week. Lowest. Okay. Welcome back. Thank you, Matthew. It's good to be back. IDEX. Did we have a trade in this? You can see how long I've been trading. I know, and I could probably go back here to 2018 or whenever it was that we were trading this. I feel like we recently had a trade in here. It's having a hard time getting over 475. Let me scroll down really quick just to make sure someone's not yelling at me. Okay. Carl says I got a 212, 65. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is I don't know if it's going to get to 65, but I would hold it even through these dead cat bounces. You got to be careful though. 212 it's going to be coming up pretty quick. So check theta on it every day. And wait, Easy Money says you got skipped. Let me look. Wait, skipped? Oh, you did get skipped. My apologies. I didn't see it. It was in the middle of your sentence there. IPOE. Okay, remind me to go back to IDX. IPOE. IPOE. Okay, so 25 bucks, $26. I like this. The only thing with this is that I wish I was already involved back here a few days ago. I'm not a trader that likes to buy high and sell higher. That's not my style. Although you can definitely let these run up there, but you're looking at from January 1st till the high of whenever that was. I believe it was Friday. We go back to the daily. It's not so bad. I mean, 128%. It can always run to, as we see in a lot of the other charts, it can run to 1,000. I mean, there's not a it's too high on the chart. I prefer taking trades out of consolidation patterns, and so for me, that consolidation would be this pattern right here. That's when I would prefer to take the trades, especially once you saw it break out. This following day right here is pretty bullish, and then it came back and back tested this down sloping. It'd be easier to see on a lower time frame. Let's do this. So now you can see the consolidation a little bit better. It had a up move, traded sideways, up move, and then it had this profit taking. You know, let's whip out some of these longs, and then it took off. Once we saw it break out there, and I don't know how you would. Let's do this. I don't know if you could draw it like this, or it really doesn't matter. It's bullish consolidation. Maybe this right here. Maybe they're taking out this area right here. You can see where it ran up, it pulled back a little bit, took off. Of course, that's after hours, so how can you do a lot with that? But definitely bullish. You can definitely see higher prices. So maybe if you're a momentum trader and you like to trade that, maybe wait for a pullback just like we saw on Friday. You saw a pullback, dip buy an opportunity. As far as to the short side, I don't know if I would necessarily short it. To me, it looks like it's going to want higher prices. Maybe, it's hard to do technical analysis when something is at all-time highs. You could try to draw trend lines across like this, where you see it go like this from this high back here. You can try to draw trend lines like that. But again, it's in a definite uptrend. I don't know if I'd want to be a short. So let's put that on a list. Thank you for that one. IPOE. Okay. IDEX. Yeah, good luck with that one. It's good to see people do well. And I know when this is up 100% on Monday, I'm going to kick myself, but okay, so IDEX, same thing goes for this one. I mean, we have quite the run-ups in these a lot of these names. We have quite the run-ups. I feel like we just took a trade on this, but okay. So this one's having a little bit of trouble getting over the high of 475, rightfully so. This was a pretty strong area of a rejection. And what I mean by that is the prices got up this high. They were immediately sold back down to, we could say, what's the percentage on that? It sold off 60%, which in some cases in an uptrend, 60% is a nice pullback. It's a pretty healthy pullback. So in one way, it is consolidating. I do like this as far as to the bullish side. I see this consolidation right here, just underneath resistance. That's a good sign. When it does that, if you get enough days under here of consolidation, a lot of times it likes to gap above the consolidation. So we'll see if we're coming into this next week. Did I put it on the list? Watch, it was like an alert that I had no idea. Forgot about already. Okay, so let's go down the list here. Andy was there, I hate it. MD is on the list. Starbucks. When you said Starbucks, you meant like, because I skipped over it. When? Or do you want to look at the chart? Okay. HSBC. We had this one a few days ago. And I think we put an alert out on puts. I can't remember. I think it was calls a few days ago, and then we flipped to put. I can't remember. Anyway, I definitely like this as far as I wouldn't be long just yet. If you were in puts, you can probably hold them because it could come all the way down here to 25.56, which is this consolidation area. I usually don't hold through these consolidation periods. This is a good exit point. I mean, if in a market crash, all the rules are out the window. But when something like this, when you have consolidation where it was trading sideways for a week and a half, that's not exactly an area that the price will want to just shoot right through. Now it can, if it did shoot right through. A good area is, well, you have this gap right here. This is a pretty big area right in here. So because we had a bottom off of these lows down here, and now I zoomed in, you can't see them. Let's do this. Off the lows of 1770, I mean, it's run 60%, which is pretty healthy. But this overall is nice, healthy bottoming type pattern. It's already crossed back above all three moving averages. It's bounced into them as support. Now it's falling below. If it gets below the 200 period moving average, which is this one highlighted right here, it could fall quite a bit. In fact, it could want to come all the way back down here to 2240. I don't think it's going to do that. Not in one day. You'll see rallies, crazy rallies. You'll see crazy selling off. But for Starbucks, this is one day at a time. I don't think it's just going to go right through 2560, 2550. I don't think it's going to shoot right through that without some sort of bad news. It is possible, but we'll see. But I want more evidence to be a buyer personally. I would wait for more evidence. Wait for the daily reversal. Maybe some sort of reversal candle. HSBC. Okay. ADM. I think somebody asked for a chart. Remind me to do TRVG. I'll put it on the list for now, but somebody asked for that one. Okay, so ADM, same thing. We're looking like it's I do like that it's in an uptrend, but we got to be mindful it's below the first two moving averages of the 20 and the 50. It is in a bearish consolidation. Yes, we're high on the, not like high, crazy high prices, but we're high on the chart as far as bearish consolidation in an uptrend. So take it for what it's worth. This back here was bearish consolidation. This is bearish consolidation. This one broke out to the upside, which is why there was so much momentum behind it. This one, it could break either way, but more likely to break to the downside. And again, see what I mean about consolidation? We came into the consolidation from these high prices. We traded down into this consolidation right here. See how price is having a hard time getting through this area? It needs a little bit more time, maybe a few more days, or maybe it will tomorrow. I don't know, but usually it takes a lot more effort and energy to get through prior consolidation, in my opinion. Again, another one I would wait to just, maybe wait a little bit to go long. Wait for the daily reversal, wait for more evidence, wait for a higher low. Oh. But I like the chart overall. And again, by the way, that depends on, like, let's say we are long some of these names. It doesn't mean get out of the trade. But for something like this, like your line could be this, just maybe use the 200 period moving average. Maybe you do 46 or 48, somewhere in there. Just because we have a little bit of profit taking doesn't mean it's an overall market reversal. It doesn't mean it's a market top. So I don't mean to scare anyone out of the trade necessarily. TRVG, I love the chart. This one, I don't like the action of this. It went all the way up to $5.88 and pulled all the way back down here to 322. I don't know if I necessarily like that part of it. But I do like this consolidation in here, and that's why it had a crazy rally. Well, it was probably some sort of news, but it had a crazy rally because there was all this built up energy right here. Look at how many days it consolidated for. So if you're willing to sit through all that for finally getting a breakout, now it's doing inside bars. These are both of these bars are consolidation bars. Inside bar, inside bar. Yeah, we closed down here, but again, we're above all the moving averages. We're inside this huge green candle that broke out. It has to be looked at as bullish until it's not, right? And for now, it's bullish. So hopefully that helps. I don't know if I necessarily have price targets for this one. I'm just curious here. See, monthly chart looks a little bit uglier as far as this is a monthly reversal candle, and the chart is in a downtrend as far as the monthly. So you could see lower prices here. In fact, you could see lower prices all the way down to $1.40. So keep that in mind. If you're in this trade, just be mindful of where your numbers are. Let's say 204 is your line in the sand, because if it gets below 204, it's most likely headed all the way down to, you know, lower prices. But ahead of that, on the weekly time frame, it doesn't look so bad. Well, it is kind of a weekly reversal. It's in a downtrend. Daily, but I like the daily, and I like lower time frames. You know, I like the daily. Let's go to the 2 hour. I like the 2 hour. I like the hourly. Bullish consolidation all day. You know, so we'll see what happens. Even with this one, you could draw this. You could just draw something across here and say, you know, price gets below this level, you know, to get out of the trade. But for now, this is healthy. In fact, it could come all the way down to here, to be honest, and then take off. That would almost create some sort of a channel in here, price channel, or a wedge. Be mindful, something to be mindful of. Okay, what else we got? I hope that helps. Did I skip over? Okay, so I did HSBC, ADM, SLV. Oh, we love silver. Again, let's be careful, because I think SLV is on that list also, and it looks like we're gapping higher. So if you are in this trade, there's no reason to close it out. Definitely bullish. Let's go to the daily. And what is the bid and ask? $28. That's a hefty move. That is a nice move. Well done if you're in that trade. No reason. Yeah, but just be mindful of, as far as liquidity, I don't think that Robinhood liquidity issues are going to affect your being able to sell, or, you know, maybe you can't buy it, or maybe you can only buy so many shares, but I don't know if it's going to affect overall liquidity on Silver Trust. So if you're in that trade, beautiful, hold it. It's definitely bullish consolidation into an up move. And after 28, you're looking at $30.96. Oh, let's do this. $29.87. I would just hold it though. This whole entire pattern through here, at this point, I would be holding for 33. But I'm not in the trade, so it's harder for me. This is all consolidation. We had a 1086 all the way up to 20. Now we just broke out of 27. Maybe we'll go to 37 for symmetry. Right? Maybe. Yes, please like the video. Spread the wealth. Appreciate that. SNDL. Yeah, YouTube loves that for some reason. I don't know. It's a thing where, like, YouTube will only share the video if there's a bunch of likes or something. If you gain, what I say to people is, if you gain value out of it, like the video. I try not to pump like, oh, please like the video. Please. Okay, so SNDL. Did we already go over this? No. Beautiful chart. You guys ever look up volume weighted, like VWAP, anchored VWAP? There's a guy that I follow that does, Brian Shannon. He does anchored VWAP. Dude's a beast. Anyway, with his, like, there's a way that you can get anchored VWAP on Thinkorswim, but when it starts getting pinched, you can kind of see it getting pinched in the volume here. This is, of course, of the daily chart, but you start seeing it getting pinched here. It creates a momentum when it breaks out of the pinch, if that makes sense. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm just catching up on something really quick. Okay, so it creates this, like, momentum when it breaks through this squeeze. It's almost like a squeeze. And so everyone who is short gets out of the short positions. Everybody who's long is holding, and everybody sees it and they want to buy it because they think it's going to go to 1,000. So they all buy it, and then it just has this crazy run up. So I do like this chart. I personally am not. I don't. I would want to see a lot more consolidation before I personally got involved. But if you're in this trade already, there's no reason why you can't stay in it. You could just raise your stop loss to 64 cents, maybe raise it up to 71 cents. I see the after hours is up to 81 cents. So that's the thing is, here's the hourly. Same thing. You saw this rally consolidation, rally consolidation. Now we're having a little bit of a rally here. I think it looks like it wants to hold up. In fact, you can start to begin to see higher prices through here. Let's see what happens though. Coming into Monday, Tuesday. Like I said, you could also give it the room it needs. Just raise your stop loss up to break even and let it just do its thing. Oh, look at that 4 hour on SNDL. Yeah, I like it. I like it. Oh, well, other than this candle right here. I mean, the overall consolidation, this overall pattern is bullish, but you do have a few candles in here that look a little bit bearish, like this one right here. I suppose if a trader was short, you gotta be careful shorting penny stocks if you are, but if a trader is short, you could be against this high of $1.35, knowing full well that if the price got above $1.35, you would be out of the trade. But you got to be careful with shorting penny stocks because it can hurt. Or ABB. Did we already go over ABB? Yeah, we went over ABB. BK, please. BK like bankruptcy, like there's a stock going bankruptcy. You'll want to see BK like the chart. Same one as a lot of the other ones I've kind of seen tonight. As far as, let's put this in here, BK. Right now the pattern is bearish, and in the context of it isn't an uptrend if you're counting from way back here, depending on when you got in the trade or if you're looking to enter the trade, I would just say that these candles are, this pattern that this last week has made is a bearish wedge or bearish consolidation. So just be mindful of that. The price is just having a hard time getting through the prior consolidation, prior support. It's having a hard time getting through this price area back here. But once it does, if it does, it could move pretty fast. You know, you might find it down all the way down here. So just be really careful of that. Would I take a long trade out of this pattern right now? I would want to see it break. I would want to make it see a higher high. And what I mean by that is I would want to see price get above the highs of Friday and Thursday before I went long, to make it a long trade. Because then you could, at that point, you could say, well, it did find support and it did backtest the support and then it broke out and we could take a trade on that. Would I go short on it? Not yet. I would wait for a rally, and I would wait for, you could wait for it to break the low of day. Like let's say tomorrow it's still in this pattern and then it breaks the low of day, or let's say it breaks Friday's low. The problem with that is shorting it in the hole is that you're gonna have a bounce coming up pretty soon. We just don't know where it's gonna come from. It could come from right here. It could come from current price. We just don't know that yet. In my honest opinion, in my opinion. Baby rocket ship. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. That's what I'm here for. I just try to help. I'm trying to give a viewpoint of like we want to know when we're trading, like if I'm taking a trade, like let's say on the SPY and I enter long, I want to know what the bears see, because if I don't look at what the bears see and I'm going long, I might miss something. So it's always good to be, it's hard to be unbiased in your trading because you really want the trade to work out, but it's understanding that a setup might be more bearish than it is bullish, but it can still turn out bullish, you know, but we want to know both sides of that story, you know. Let's say I'm waiting. I'll throw you another one if you have time. Yeah, let's do another one. One that you can still get in, it's not missed. Is CCIV on the list of Not that I'm saying you can't trade it. I just mean like a lot of people just have Robinhood, so it might be on the list. But I'll go to that CCIV. Did I put this other one on there? Yeah, BK. Okay, let's do CCIV. And just like we had in, it's not crazy run up. Like it's not like 1,000% in a week, like a lot of names are. It already had its drawdown of 30%, and that was a optimal entry price. And the thing is, once it made this high of 27.30, and then it pulled back. Well, I don't know if it made that high. Just maybe it opened up back here on the 25th, and then sold off down here. But notice this, guys. Notice that it went down to the low of this breakout. Here's the flag. Here's the breakout. Notice how this came all the way down here, back tested the breakout, and then took off, right? And so that's what we're looking for. That means it's bullish. That by itself is bullish. Now we're having a higher low right here. I personally, if I were to get into this trade, well, for one, I like having a lot more consolidation, but let's just hypothetically say I was looking to enter this week. What I personally do in this situation, because I believe higher prices are likely, doesn't mean that's going to happen. And when and if this thing pulls back, it could pull back fast and hard. But let's just hypothetically say I'm looking to go long. What I'd be looking for is if I go down to a lower time frame, that hourly, you guys know I love the hourly. And so it ran up here. See this consolidate, or see this pullback right here, 30. Oh, after hours, this pullback was actually 46%. A 30% pullback in a parabolic move is an excellent entry, right? And so it was the back test, rallied, and now it just back tested again. Here's what I'll say. Okay, if you guys are in this, want to get in this, and want this thing to take off, I'm gonna say this, but it might not be right. So don't take me on this if it happens. In my opinion, because we've already come down once and we came down twice, there's something to be said about the second time that looked really bearish and then it took off. There's something to be said here. If it comes down one more time, I personally wouldn't be interested in that trade anymore. And if it does come back down and starts to rally again, I would want it to get above this high of 23.08 to go long. With that said, to the long side, so for me, I'm not interested in a dip buying opportunity. What I'd be interested in personally is something like this, where you could just draw a line across the screen, wait for it to break out. And I'm not saying take the breakout. That can be really risky. Watch the breakout, look for the back test, and look for the resumption, highest probability setup. But I'm not interested in a dip buying opportunity. Now, if it does it really fast and let's say it just comes down to here, sure. But I'm not interested down at these prices down here. Extremely bullish chart. I think that the CCIV holders are probably going to be happy tomorrow if it's gapped higher. So let's put this on the list. We'll start wrapping it up here pretty soon. A few minutes. I appreciate you guys' time. Thank you. Let's just do the last. I think there's like one more here. NNOX. Wow, we did a lot of charts today, guys. What's the time frame? I'm going for an hour here. Okay, CCI, or not CCIV, NNOX. I got in there on that pullback. What uneasy. Yeah, that's a thing. Is like if you're already in it, like that's not a lot to. It's good and easy to manage. Okay, Adam, NNOX. So let's go to the daily. So now I'm already getting tired. You can hear it in my voice. I'm like, I gotta wake up in the morning. Okay. I love this chart. And this is what I mean. Like, and again, I don't know if this is on the list. Like, we could go look. You know, this is what trading's all about. You know, like, regardless of how high in the chart or low in the chart something is, if you can find the pattern and trade it. In fact, get rid of the name. Don't even. Who cares what the name is? Who cares what the prices are? Just trade the candlesticks. I'm just saying that jokingly. Like, it's good to do your research. Okay, so we had a breakout, back test. And now what we'd like to see is either consolidation. I just don't want to see the price. It shouldn't be back testing over and over again, right? It should back test once or twice, maybe 3 times, and then it should take off, you know? But we could probably see a little bit of consolidation here. There might be some more inside bars like this, and then look for a buildup. If you can find a pattern in there to trade, waiting for the breakout. If you are in this trade, I would just, depending on when you got into it, I would just keep raising your stop loss up. And for me, that stop loss in this one would be right below, probably around $60.60. You could actually have it a little bit higher, 65.44, 64.93, 64.90, somewhere in there. Just keep raising the stop loss up. Okay, I think that wraps it up. Is that it for you guys? You guys are patient. I appreciate it. I think that's it for me. Have a good trading week. Again, feel free to hit the like button if you've gained value. Feel free to join the Discord. Now that oh, and by the way, if you go into the Discord, make sure you text, message, or make sure you message Super and let him know that you would like the free version of it, where you can do the member alerts, you can do be part of the chat, the community, you can ask questions. So check it out. Check out the Discord. The link is in the description. And we will see you guys in the next video.